Here is why Jaime Lannister left Brienne for Cersei in the end. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you love House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, and deep dives into Westerosi lore. Let's begin. Kingslayer, Oathbreaker, hero, villain, lover, redeemer. Jaime Lannister has been called many things, but one title still divides fans more than any other: traitor to Brienne of Tarth. Why did Jaime leave Brienne, the woman who gave him a chance at redemption, for Cersei, the sister who had been his downfall for years? Was it love, loyalty, or something far darker buried deep inside Jaime's soul? Today, we're going to break down the heartbreaking truth of Jaime Lannister's final choice, from his tortured psychology, his toxic love for Cersei, and the tragic writing behind his story arc. And by the end of this video, you might see Jaime's decision in a whole new way. Before we talk about Brienne or Cersei, we have to understand Jaime himself. From the very beginning, Jaime's life was marked by two things: privilege and ridicule. Born to Tywin Lannister, the most powerful man in Westeros, Jaime was groomed to be perfect. He was handsome, skilled, and destined for greatness. But all of that changed with one fateful decision: the moment he killed King Aerys II, the Mad King. Instead of being celebrated as a hero who saved the city, Jaime was branded Kingslayer. That name haunted him for decades. It stripped away his honor, his identity, and his sense of purpose. And this is crucial. Jaime began to believe he could never be anything more than the monster people thought he was. That's why, for years, the only person who ever truly accepted Jaime was Cersei, his twin sister, his lover, his addiction. Cersei didn't care if Jaime was a Kingslayer. She loved him as he was, without judgment. And to Jaime, that bond became an escape from a world that despised him. This wasn't just love, it was survival. So when Brienne of Tarth entered his life, everything changed. When Jaime first met Brienne, he mocked her. He called her names, ridiculed her looks, and treated her as nothing more than a naive warrior chasing knighthood in a man's world. But then came the bath scene in Harrenhal. For the first time, Jaime opened up. He revealed why he killed the Mad King, that he did it to save hundreds of thousands of innocent lives. Brienne didn't laugh. She didn't sneer. She believed him, and that single moment shattered Jaime's walls. Brienne became the first person to see Jaime for who he truly was. Not the Kingslayer, not Tywin's son, but a man who once tried to do the right thing and had been punished for it ever since. This is why their bond became so powerful. Brienne wasn't just a friend. She was redemption. With Brienne, Jaime was becoming something he never thought possible: a good man. So then why, after finally sleeping with Brienne and seemingly breaking free of Cersei's toxic hold, did Jaime ride back to his sister anyway? To understand this, we have to confront a harsh truth about Jaime. Cersei wasn't just his sister or lover. She was his addiction. Think of it this way. Jaime spent most of his life bound to Cersei. She was his comfort when the world mocked him. She was the only one who never turned her back on him. Even when he lost his hand, his sword hand, the very thing that defined him, Cersei remained his anchor. But Cersei's love was poisonous. Instead of helping Jaime grow, she pulled him deeper into her darkness. Every time Jaime tried to escape her influence, Cersei would reel him back in, through guilt, loyalty, and their shared history. When Jaime left her in Season 7 to fight in the North, it was the first real act of independence he had ever shown. Fans celebrated. It felt like he had finally broken free. But addiction isn't that simple. When the news reached Jaime that Cersei was about to be destroyed, he wasn't thinking about Brienne. He wasn't thinking about honor. He was thinking about the one person he had spent his entire life protecting, loving, and yes, enabling. Jaime's final conflict: two sides of himself. This is where Jaime's tragedy becomes painfully clear. He wasn't just choosing between Brienne and Cersei. He was choosing between the man he had become and the man he used to be. Brienne represented redemption. She was the proof that Jaime could change, that he could be better. Cersei, on the other hand, represented his past, his sins, his shame. And when Jaime saddled his horse and left Winterfell, He wasn't doing it because he stopped caring for Brienne. He was doing it because he didn't believe he deserved her. Listen to his words. She's hateful, and so am I. This line is heartbreaking because it isn't just about Cersei. It's about Jaime's self-loathing. He believed, deep down, that he didn't deserve love or redemption or Brienne's respect. He saw himself as a villain. And if you believe you're a villain, you eventually act like one. When Jaime returned to Cersei and held her in those final moments, many fans were furious. They wanted him to kill her. They wanted him to rise above his toxic past and end it once and for all. But that was never Jaime's story. Jaime's arc was never about becoming the perfect hero. It was about a man who tried, desperately, to be better, but ultimately couldn't escape who he was. In his final moments, Jaime didn't choose honor. He didn't choose redemption. He chose love, the only love he had known his whole life, no matter how twisted it was. And that's what makes his ending so tragic. Because while Brienne represented the man Jaime could have been, Cersei represented the man he truly believed he was. When those walls collapsed on them in the Red Keep, Jaime didn't just die with Cersei. He died with the past he could never escape. But there's one more piece to this story, and it's the part that gives Jaime's ending a bittersweet beauty. After Jaime's death, Brienne does something incredible. She finishes his page in the White Book, the record of every night in the Kingsguard. For years, Jaime's entry was filled with nothing but disgrace, Kingslayer, Oathbreaker. But Brienne rewrites his legacy. She lists his bravery, his loyalty, his sacrifices. In that moment, Brienne gives Jaime what he could never give himself, forgiveness. Jaime may have died believing he was hateful, but Brienne made sure the world remembered him as something more. And in that way, she redeemed him whether he realized it or not. Because Jaime was a man at war with himself. He loved Brienne. He wanted to be worthy of her. But in the end, his old wounds and his toxic bond with Cersei were too powerful to overcome. Jaime didn't choose Cersei over Brienne because she was better. He chose her because he didn't believe he was good enough for Brienne. And that's what makes Jaime Lannister one of the most tragic characters in all of Game of Thrones. Jaime Lannister's story isn't a tale of villains and heroes. It's a story about how hard it is to escape your past, even when redemption is standing right in front of you. He may have died with Cersei, but in the end, he'll always be remembered the way Brienne wrote him. Not as the Kingslayer, but as the man who tried to be more. What do you think? Was Jaime's ending a betrayal, or was it the only ending his character could ever truly have? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most heartbreaking stories from Westeros. Until next time, remember, in the Game of Thrones,